Big day today for the finalists taking part in the Miss Lincolnshire competition, which can lead to Miss England, which can lead to Miss World. And despite the fact that some think this competition should really be a thing of the past, it's still a thing and it is still popular. And we've got finalists coming from Gainsborough and Boston and Skegness and Spalding and Sleaford and Lincoln and Grimsby, and they're all hoping to become Miss Lincolnshire. But a bit different this year, of course, because we're in lockdown, so the catwalks have all been filmed at home and there are video messages as introductions. And here are some of those messages. Here are some of the people taking part.
Hi everybody, I'm Gabby and I'm 23.
I am currently based in Spalding, Lincolnshire. However, I am originally from Poland.
Hello, my name's Caitlin Kinnaird. I'm 19 from Grimsby, currently working at Betfred. Some of my interests are horse riding, going to the gym. I have my own 2 horses. I love my horse racing. I used to work for Michael Chapman in market racing and train his horses for him.
Recently, I've achieved my biggest ambition by being awarded a golf scholarship to be able to go and study golf in America.
Hi, I'm Laura. I'm 22 years old and I'm from Lincolnshire. I've got a BA Honours in Education Studies.
My name is Megan Bliss Sharrock. I'm 22 years old and I am from Sleaford in Lincolnshire. I currently work as a redcoat at Butlins in Bognor Regis, where I've performed on stage with Dick and Dom, Stephen Moorham, just to name a couple.
Hi, my name's Maya Rothwell. I'm 20 years old. I'm competing for Miss Lincolnshire. I used to live in Lincolnshire and I've come back. I came back during the first lockdown. That's why I'm entering Miss Lincolnshire from Boston.
Hello, I'm Rebecca. I'm 24 years old and I live in sunny Skegness, Lincolnshire. I'm an independent travel agent and business owner at There Are Back Again Travel.
So lots of contestants, lots of people hoping to become Miss Lincolnshire, but all a bit different because the whole contest is going to be on Zoom later today. 40 years ago, Angie Beasley was crowned Miss Lincolnshire, and now Angie is the director of the Miss England competition. I tell you what, this is all a bit different from your big moment in 1981, isn't it?
It certainly is, yes. All we had to do in 1981 was turn up with a swimsuit and a vanity case and a pair of stilettos, walk on the stage in front of the audience, and it was all family out there and, you know, people visiting the Lincolnshire Home and Leisure Show. And I think it was done in the daytime from memory. And I won £25.
Oh, and, look at that.
That was a lot of money then, because I was an apprentice hairdresser at the time, and that was a week's wages to me.
Well, I was going to say, of course, 40 years ago, you must have been ever so young when you did this. But do you remember?
Oh, I was 5.
Do you remember what you thought when you went into it, and then you found out that you'd won? Do you remember how you felt at that point?
I remember it very well because I'd actually been entering competitions for about a year before I won the title. And my first competition was an absolute disaster because I was so frightened. I was shaking. My knees were literally knocking. I was so afraid of being in front of an audience. But as you enter these type of competitions, your confidence grows and you get better and you meet lots of people and you pick up grooming tips and, you know, it builds your confidence and it builds your character. And it's true what they in our circles, in the competition circles, you make lifelong friends. I mean, Phil and I are living proof of that because Phil Green is the organiser and he was hosting the competition when I won 40 years ago, and we're still friends, and he's organising Miss Lincolnshire for me this year.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. And just explain how this is going to work, because we said, and I know you've been doing, elsewhere as well. Having to do this in lockdown, so you're getting used to how this works now. But how does this work today for Miss Lincolnshire, the final, when you can't be together?
Yes. Yeah, well, it's a little bit different this year, obviously. I mean, to be honest, it's been different for the last 10 months because we've had to adapt like everybody else if we wanted to keep going. So we decided to invite the contestants to submit 3 videos of themselves. They can submit a an introduction, introducing themselves and their lives and what they do for a living, that kind of thing. And then they film a little catwalk at home. So they're a good excuse to get dressed up and put your makeup on, which not many people have done recently. I know I haven't. And then they can show off their what they think they are talented at, or they can raise money for the Miss World charity called Beauty with a Purpose, because that's really what Miss World does when she becomes Miss World. She travels the globe and raises millions of pounds for charities across the world. But because it's not on terrestrial television in this country, people don't realise, it's still going and it's still a big thing. But it's still one of the biggest shows in the world. Yeah. It's watched, I think it's over 130 countries around the world.
It's interesting, isn't it? And I know, of course, well, I was just going to say, I know, and we spoke before, and you've said, probably every interview you've done for the past however many years, there'll be a bit in the interview, and let me throw that bit in the interview here, because you've answered this a million times.
Yes, I thought you would.
Some people do have a go, don't they? And you must have been asked this about why you think this contest still has a place. And, there are people entering it. It is very popular. How does it still work?
Well, I've got to admit, in the 90s, when I first started organising competitions, it was very difficult because it wasn't on television. We struggled to get anything in the newspapers, and there wasn't the internet around. But since the internet became a thing, people can enter online. They just Google us. We get thousands of entries throughout the year, and people look up to beauty queens as role models in our circles. I'm not saying everybody does, because they don't. But our current Miss England is an NHS doctor. She won Miss England in 2019, and then within 12 hours
she was working at Boston's Pilgrim, wasn't she? And she was talking about that, and she was talking about coronavirus and all the rest of it, and having that profile.
She worked on a COVID board.
Yeah, and having that profile actually gave her a voice, didn't it? Because probably a bigger voice, because people wanted to know what she thought.
Well, absolutely. I mean, she once you become Miss England, you take a project to Miss World, a Beauty with a Purpose project, and you. Pasha's project was diabetes, because she wants to educate people in knowing more about diabetes, and she took that project to Miss World, and it was seen by a global audience, and she's got her own personal reasons for doing that, but it's really more of an ambassador's role now. Pasha never even, we do have a swimwear round. When I entered and won, I was in a swimsuit, but we don't crown the winners in swimsuits. The swimwear round is optional now, so the girls can submit a photograph of themselves in a swimsuit if they want to and they feel body confident. But I would like to add that Pasha, who won Miss England, didn't enter the swimwear round, because we've got lots of other different rounds as well. So for instance, there's a sports round now, which wasn't a thing when I was doing it, thank goodness. And there's also a ethical fashion round, where the girls, this is once the girls get to the final. The girls are invited to create an outfit made from recycled materials, and make it look good on a catwalk. So there's all these different rounds now, and that sort of is character building, and I think it helps the girls in life. I mean, lots of them have said this to me over the years. So that's why I still do it. I'm in my 50s now. I love doing it, and I love helping women improve their confidence, and they love doing it. So I'm still here.
So it all happens later today in this weird world that we're living in.
It does.
And then you'll announce the winner later, will you?
Yes, well, Phil Green is hosting the show. He's been the organizer of the competition, and he is going to. The judges have already prejudged the competition so far. They've actually seen all the catwalks, they've seen all the introductions, and they've seen their Beauty with a Purpose videos or talent videos. So now the judges are almost there to decide who wins, but it's the final interview today, and Phil Green is actually interviewing them on Zoom. So, the girls are all joining us on a Zoom. We've got 2 competitions actually today. We've got the Yorkshire final and the Lincolnshire final. So we'll be meeting everybody on Zoom, and at the end of the Zoom call, we'll be announcing who is going through to the Miss England final and representing the county in the contest.
Very good. Angie, thank you ever so much. Thanks for coming on and reminiscing as well
Thank you
about your time 40 years ago. Angie Beasley was crowned Miss Lincolnshire in 1981, and she's now the director of Miss England. So the final of the Miss Lincolnshire competition takes place later on.
1 ticket, please.